a testimony of how something was dead in the water and was resurrected by God. And so now we have this remote job. I started medical school in September of 2023. And as a part of the provision of God is that I got a new job to pay for my tuition in full. And during that time, I was thinking, how am I going to get a job once I start medical school to pay for my living expenses? So I was banking on getting a job with the doctor that I have been working with since 2022. But he's kind of fickle. So as part of my prayer, I was asking God, it would be really cool if this doctor actually offered me a remote job like he said he was going to. And so I started the year with that in mind, waiting for him to offer me a remote job. And end of March came, where out of the blue, I got a phone call saying, hey, I need you to quit your job and start working for me immediately. And I was like, well, that sounds nice. But then I'm going to be in school in September. So by September, I would need to be fully remote. And he said, oh yeah, no problem. It's only going to take 3 months for you to set up the pilot program, have all these things running. And then once you start medical school in September, you're going to be fully remote. And it's going to be fine. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have to be able to travel and all that kind of stuff. He's like, yeah, no problem. You can travel. You've traveled before. It's no problem at all. It's like everything is like, wow, really? I'm going to have a remote job. I can travel and I manage these people, which is basically a promotion. And then I told him like he has to match what I'm making now because going under it is going to be really tough for me for living expenses. It's like, well, just tell me how much you want. But just keep in mind that you're already making a lot of money, way more money than these other people are making that I'm hiring right now. And I'm like, yeah, I understand, but this is what I'm making right now. And I would need to at least match it. I'm not even expecting him to provide the benefits that I have because I'm working for a big corporation and he's a little mom and pop show, okay? So that was the conversation. End of March. My heart was like beating really quickly because I've been waiting for this phone call since like I started medical school, basically. So I was just like, God, this is it, right? Is this really the opportunity you're giving me? Is this a remote job that I've been needing? So I'm like, okay, all right. Like, don't screw up the deal. So I was like, okay, Lord, what are our demands? Bullet point form. In every single line, I have to pray, right? Ask God for guidance and wisdom. So one, it's going to be a full-time job. Yes, we know that. But is it going to be a W-2 wage? That means I'm like a employee of this company. Or do I want to be an independent contractor, 1099? Number two was how much I was going to make. And I said, well, it'd be better if I could actually make more, but I'm not going to push it, right? I just want to make what I'm making currently. So I asked for that, which it seemed like he was okay with it, but we don't know. And it required travel. And everybody else who was doing that was being compensated with their hotel, their car, their flight, everything. I want that matched as well because I'm not gonna pay to go to work in the boonies somewhere, right? That is crazy. And then be home the other 2 days of the work week. So the last thing I wanted was like, do I want to be a salary employee or do I want to be an hourly employee? So I stipulated all of these things and sent it to him. And it took him like a week or so to come back to me and say, yeah, this all looks good. Let me crunch some numbers and I'll get back to you with a contract. So I was like, okay, all right. Does this mean we're a go? And keep in mind, in between communication, there's always a long period of silence. Every single day, I was praying to ask God if today's the day that I'm going to follow up with him because I haven't heard back in regards to the contract. Where is my contract? And so every single day, God would say, no, wait a bit. No, wait a bit. And then he would say, okay, ask. Today you ask. And even though I trust and obey and I ask, there's still no response. So 2 weeks passed by since I last spoke with this person. I got this fishy email at midnight saying, so-and-so wants to perform your background check. Please send us these information promptly. And I was like, what the? I didn't apply for anything. This is junk. This is spam. This is phishing email. Trying to steal my information. What is this? So I was like, never mind. We're not doing this. We just ignore it, right? I didn't apply for anything. So the next day, the clinic manager for this guy said, hey, so-and-so is going to send you an email regarding a background check. I need you to fill that out really quickly and send it back to us so we can get it all started. And I was like, I don't know about this background check because he did not give me an offer at all. So I didn't accept the job. There's no need for a background check, all right? I was like, okay. I'm going to do my part to show him that I am cooperating, right? That I want the job. All right. So I do these extra steps and I do the background check and finishes it. And they're like, okay, still no response for him. And then like a week later, I got cleared of the background check and I text him because, you know, I asked God, hey, God, are we following up? And it's like, yeah, ask. So a month in, still silence. I was like, okay, I don't know what's happening, but clearly something is happening. I don't know if he asked the manager to get a background check on me or what. You know, so I text her. I was like, oh, by the way, did he actually ask you to run a background check? Because, you know, I haven't heard back from him since end of March. And she goes like, nope, didn't hear a word. I'm just doing this thing by myself. And so I still didn't know if I got the job or not. I just did all these things. I don't know what it means. All right. So I was like, God, I don't know what's happening. This guy is not responding to any of my text messages, but the manager seems like they're also in the dark. So I asked her, I was like, hey, do you think that you can find out what we're doing so I know when I should quit my job and get this ball rolling? It's like, yeah. I will talk to him on Monday when I see him. 1 month passes with no word. She's still doing her job. I'm still following up with her instead of him saying, did you hear back? Did you hear back? Did you hear back? It's like, nope, nothing, not a word. And so 2 months went by. Every single day of those 2 months, I was asking, God, what's up with this? Do I have the job or not? I would really love it if this was the job because I know this guy. It's fully remote. I don't actually have to go to work physically. When I'm in medical school, this would be my dream situation. But I don't know. With this guy, it's so fickle. He's so insecure. You know, it was just, oh my goodness. Every single week that passed by, it was excruciating. So in my mind, this was what's happening, okay? Every day that passed by, I was like, okay, maybe he's regretting it. Maybe it's too expensive. Maybe, you know what? I don't even know why he's hiring me. Like everybody that we interviewed, okay? During that time, we actually interviewed a bunch of people. They seemed really on top of their game. And I'm like, this person can do my job easily. Come on now. They even have the credentials. Like, why would anyone want to hire me? I don't understand. Like, this person's way better. And they're half the cost. So the entire time, I was just like, oh man, maybe he actually met these people and he was like, oh, geez, just hire these people. They're way better. This other girl, it's too expensive. Never mind. No need to hire her. So I was just like, oh my goodness. Okay, fine. This is dead in the water. There's no hope. It's dead in the water. There's just no updates. This guy ghosted me. No response whatsoever. Okay, fine. So I guess back to the drawing board now. What are we going to do, Lord? And God said this, okay? Don't worry about it. You got the job. I was like, what are you talking about? There's no movement from his side. You know, there is no movement. This is dead in the water. Okay? No, you got the job. You got the job. I was like, fine. So every time I thought to myself, I lost this job. I didn't get the job. Oh, boo-hoo me. And then, fine. I will believe you, Lord. You said that I got the job. Fine. I got the job. You're working in the background. I am not expected to do anything. So I will sit here quietly and just work on what I'm working on. You know? So I just did my thing, didn't follow up with him, didn't follow up with her. Like, okay, like God said, oh, you don't have to do anything. All right, fine, I don't have to do anything. God, do I have to ask her, follow up, you know, stuff like that. So subsequently, I did follow up some, I didn't follow up on some days, whatever it is. There's some important piece as to what's happening during this month, okay? All right, I did the background check. And then during that first month where I didn't hear anything, somebody took over my job. Somehow in the system, while I was doing my job for him, there was a new name that said so-and-so made a note. Okay. I don't know what's happening. So this new person started doing my job and I was like, okay, well then I guess I don't have anything to do then for this guy because somebody else is doing my job without notifying me. Okay. And so I did my background check and then that's why I was asking the manager, hey, what's going on? Because I noticed that there's this new person doing my job, right? I said it in a very polite manner. Yeah, that's a new person we hired and we're training. Yeah. Very good. Okay, cool. Let me know if I need to do anything. Let me know if you got an update. And so the following month, after my background check, the person still has not responded. And then there was another person doing my exact job. I was like, okay, then now there's another person. Clearly, I am being replaced. It was not enough to replace me with one person, replace me with two people. Like, what is happening? All right. And I was just like, okay, well, clearly this is a sign that one, I didn't get the job. Two, I don't even have the current thing that I'm currently doing because even that was taken over by somebody else. Okay, fine. And I don't have any updates from this manager. Fine. And this person who was supposed to hire me still has not responded. Fine. So during this time, I was just like, well, this is dead in the water. God saying, no, you got the job. You got the job. You got the job. I'm like, no, I did not get the job because nobody's responding to me. And clearly they've been hiring so many other people doing my job without even notifying me. At the end of 2 months, I got this email saying, it seems like you did the job that you were not supposed to be doing because I wanted somebody else who we're hiring today to do it. So please, in the future, do not do it anymore. And I was like, oh, great. See, I seized the opportunity thinking that, hey, clearly nobody's doing my job, so I should do it, right? We don't want things to fall in the cracks or anything. But no, it was reserved for the new person, the third new person they hired. I was like, okay, sorry. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for the update. And then I got another email saying, thank you so much for doing the notes. I don't actually know what's happening with all these new people coming in. And I was like, wow, I'm not the only one in the dark. I feel so validated. I am not alone in the dark. Everybody else does not know what's happening. The manager doesn't know. This person doesn't know. I don't know. So we are all in the same boat. Yay me. I'm not stuck from the outside looking in. So fantastic. And then in that afternoon, that same day, third person comes and says, hello, do you have time to chat? And now this is the person I have been waiting to actually call me in regards to the offer. So finally, 2 months after we last spoke, he finally called me and said, oh, yeah, you know, this salary you asked for, it's a little steep. What are you going to offer me for that price? So basically, I told him, like, oh, it's been a while. I haven't heard back from you for 2 months. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I didn't really know what I needed because this was new for me. I didn't know if I wanted to commit until I figure out everything because I didn't want to renege once I already commit. Oh, yeah, fair, whatever. But it's just like, at least let a person know what you're doing. You know, not just like ghost someone for 2 months and be all like, oh yeah, by the way, I want you to start on Monday. I was like, you know, as we've discussed prior, I need to put in 2 weeks notice with my current job. So during this conversation, I was like, well, since you've been there for 2 months, what have you learned? Do you think what we negotiated 2 months ago is still what you want today? Yeah. Everything's exactly the same. So like the week passes, still no contract. Without the contract, I don't feel confident that I have the job. Even though God said, you got the job. 2 months of silence, you got the job. I'm like, I don't see anything. I don't see it. Oh man. Faith is believing in things unseen. It is very, very, very hard to do that. And I must let you know, in my walk with God, in this thing called faith, you can hear the theme all across all of my testimonies. The frustration I have with silence and waiting and just doubt. But there's like a mustard seed of faith thrown in to get me through to the other side, which God is faithful. He always gets me through the other side. And I'm just saying, just so you know, this is not an easy thing to do, especially if you're a logical person who's very data driven. It's not very easy. But take this as an example of how it is to walk with God, right? So there's that, okay? A testimony of how something everything, was dead in the water, and was resurrected by God. And so now we have this remote job. I don't feel all that confident that he would be willing to stick to his word on the remote portion of this job being the same salary amount, because he kept on stipulating that it might be lower because I'm doing less work. So we'll find out. I quit a stable job for this fickle person, okay? But whatever. All in God's plan, because I needed the job to propel me to the next phase that I'm planning to do. So it was all worth it.